And today's daf is Koftet Zayin and Pesachim, 116, and we're going to learn some chiddushim today. The Mishnah says, "Mazgulo kos sheni v'kana bein shol aviv, main das bein avim malamdo." It says a pour, presumably for the balabayas, the person who's leading the seder, the second cup of wine, and here the son asks his father, and if there's no das in the child, if he doesn't know anything, so the father teaches him. The next words of the Mishnah, Manishtana Alayla Zeh, Mikol Elos. And it goes on, the Mishnah goes on to explain the four questions of Manishtana. Presumably, everyone assumes that the Mishnah is basically saying, you read the Mishnah as a continuation, that what are we talking about? He's asking, and if he doesn't know, then the father teaches him. We're talking about Manishtana, about the four questions. You read it together. Main dasad bein avim malamdo Manishtana laila zeh. That's the seeming explanation in learning it. The Gemara says, Tan Rabban and Chacham beno sholo. If the way the Mafarshim, the way the Shulchan Aruch understands it, is that Chacham beno sholo is that if his child is a smart son, so the father will ask the father these four questions. And if the son is not smart, then the wife will ask the husband the four questions. And love, and if it's not applicable, who he'll ask the four questions to himself. Even to the Menachas Pesach have to ask each other Manishtana. I want to suggest a novel explanation in this Gemara, and suggest that it's not a continuation. When the Mishnah says Manishtana, it's not a continuation of the first part of the Mishnah. The Mishnah says Mazglo kos sheni v'kana bein shol aviv, main das bein aviv malamdo. Period. At that point, we're going to put a period. What are we talking about over here? We're talking about, there's a prevalent custom, people other Siddharim, is that a lot of people have the minhag for one person to pour for someone else their dalit kosos, to pour for them, that no one should pour their own kos of wine. Someone else should pour them their kos of wine because it represents freedom and malchus that someone else is pouring for you. So I want to say that by the first cup, on 2 daf ago, on Kof Yudalid, 114, it said that Mazgul Kos Rishon, and it didn't say anything about Sheila or asking. That was talking about the first cup, which is Kiddush. And there, the Gemara is saying the halacha is that someone pours for the balabayas, for derech cheres, and no one else gets poured for. Everyone else pours their own wine. This Mishnah is suggesting another thing, saying, Mazglo kos sheni v'kana bein shol aviv. Here, the son asks his father to pour him wine. Main das bein, if the child is not a smart kid and he doesn't realize the significance of cheres on Pesach, and he thinks it's a bizayon, it's insulting to ask his father to pour for him, so then his father teaches him. His father tells him, no, tonight is a night of freedom, and everyone gets poured to by somebody else. If that were the case, so the Gemara says, that's what we could explain with this. Why does it say, Mazgulo kosheni v'kana bein shol aviv? Why is it, the simple explanation is, why is the Manishtana on the second cup? V'kana bein shol aviv. Here, the son asks the father. Why is Manishtana appropriate only after the second cup? Why not after the first cup? So I want to say that since we're learning, it has nothing to do with Manishtana over here. We're talking about a halacha of freedom of getting poured your cup of wine by somebody else. So here, where it's not kiddush and the father's not being motzi everybody, so then now we have this new halacha of everyone pouring for somebody else. And when the Gemara says Chacham b'no sholo, it really the language of the Gemara is a little difficult because it says Chacham b'no sholo. It should really say, according to the poskim, it should say im b'no Chacham sholo. It really the Gemara says Chacham b'no sholo. If the head of the household is a wise man, So his son asks him, because he's taught his son that on the night of the Seder, it's important that everyone experiences chayras, and even the father should pour for the son. So therefore, Beno Sholo, he's taught his son that the Beno Sholo, that his son should ask him to pour his cup of wine for him. And if he's not a wise man, he hasn't taught his son this, so Ishto Shoalto, so his wife should ask the husband to pour for her, because it's not as disrespectful for a husband to pour for a wife as opposed to a husband to pour for a son. With that, we can understand one more interesting thing over here, is that in the Mishnah it says, the kana ben sholav, main das ben avim malamdo. If the whole question is, like we were saying before, that it's manishtana, and the whole narrative over here is about saying manishtana, and that's what we're talking. We're not talking about this new halacha of pouring someone else's wine. So it was always in the phrase of a question. In the Bryce of the Gemara brings, it says chacham b'no sholav, meinu chacham ishta sholav. It's always about asking a question. But the Mishnah says, it says that the father teaches him. He doesn't ask him. So according to what I'm saying, is that shoel has nothing to do with asking questions. Shoel is asking someone to pour wine for you. So that's what the Gemara is, the Mishnah is saying over here, Aviv Malamdo, that the father actually tells the child, it's okay for me to pour for you your grape juice or your wine on Leil Seder, because the mitzvah of freedom trumps even the mitzvah of kibbud avim.